Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to members of the committee. I'm going to keep my presentation brief today. I just wanted to start with, I'm dealing with the zero tolerance policy for violence in city rec centres. It's not a policy that I don't have kids that use the rec centres so often, and you might be able to tell I don't work out myself a whole lot, but I was made aware of some of the policies under our zero tolerance policy. I wanted to just review a couple of them that are pertinent to some of the other stuff I want to bring up in this presentation. But just from the summary of the zero tolerance policy for recreational facilities, the following activities will not be acceptable. Physical violence, loud continued verbal abuse of participants, referees, members of the public, which is deemed to be aggressive, intimidating, or having the objective of inciting violence. Physical vandalism to the building, refusal to exit the building or ice services in accordance with the rules as a means of disrupting activity or continuing to intimidate personnel. Any overt activity at intimidating, which can be seen as promoting or escalating potential situations. And for all of this behavior, the minimum suspension is 2 months for any transgressor. For vandalism, the charge would be twice the cost of repair for vandalism, minimum 2 months suspension. The definition of violence under that policy includes, I'm going to leave out some of the stuff that's not as pertinent, but threats and attempt to intimidate and aggressive approaches to another individual. Again, the consequences for those behaviors is an immediate ejection from the property or facility and a mandatory suspension from all city recreational properties and facilities for a period of time not less than 2 months. 2 months is a minimum period only and may be extended by the city's Director of Culture and Recreation. Those individuals who are identified and suspended in accordance with this policy shall further be prohibited from holding any positions within the city's affiliated sports community for a period of 2 years. So pretty clear consequences for situations where violence arises between participants in a recreational facility. And I want to be clear. I actually think these are very good policies. I do think they make sense to me. The punishments are reasonable. However, I've always been a firm believer that we should hold all people and all citizens to the same standard equally, no matter who they are. I think this council serves as an example to the whole community, rather than just a collection of individuals. You are the representatives of the public at large and the diverse communities they inhabit. This council is made up of community leaders, people who ought to lead by example. For all of these reasons, I believe the zero tolerance policy for recreational centres, as well as all other similar policies in various departments throughout the city, should be revised to follow council's best practices. On February 27th, 2014, at approximately 10:45, an incident took place here at City Hall. A councillor, in a heated moment, assaulted a member of the public in part of the building open to everyone. This incident was captured on tape, witnessed by several people, and the councillor in question did not deny that the incident took place. Council, as well as the city manager, were well aware of this incident, but chose not to take action on the incident whatsoever. 2.5 months later, there appear to have been no consequences for this event. If the situation were reversed, if a citizen were to strike a councillor, ask yourself whether that would be the case, that there would be no consequences. Similarly, if a staffer had hit another staffer, or a member of the public had hit a staffer, or a councillor had hit a staffer, I think we all know that there wouldn't be no consequences. There might be some consequences. So. I'll keep my proposal short. I believe the zero tolerance policy for rec centres should be reworded as a conditional tolerance depending on who you are policy. If a citizen experiences violence at a City of Hamilton rec centre, there should be no consequences unless a complaint is filed with the City of Hamilton Integrity Commissioner. There will especially be no consequences if a former mayor appears on CHML to vouch for the individual in question. Instead of a 2-month suspension from city facilities, the transgressor in question will simply return to the facility the next day as if nothing happened. There is, of course, an alternative to these ridiculous suggestions, Perhaps council should enact a clear zero tolerance policy for itself and its members so that members of the public and the press don't need to be unclear on what the policy is should another incident take place. This policy should be separate from the Integrity Commissioner process because incidents like these need to be addressed immediately rather than 6 months after the fact. If Hamilton is to be the best place in Canada to engage citizens, those citizens shouldn't be fearful that engaging in their municipality will lead to being potentially assaulted. Council has a responsibility to create and maintain a safe environment for everyone who walks through the doors. And I'm very critical of council at times, but I do generally hold you to a higher standard than children. Please enact a citywide zero tolerance policy that applies to all citizens equally, no matter who they are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any questions? Move to receive. Moved by Councillor Whitehead, seconded by Councillor Duval. All in favor? I need a motion to approve the delegation request from David Stuckham. David?